some sort of service corps option for people if they choose that. And then that should be, sort of, you should get the same kind of benefits that you would get in a military service, but for civil service, whatever. But I also support a federal jobs guarantee. And I think we need a federal jobs guarantee. I think that's more the answer than anything that would be UBI related. Just from simply just looking at the economics, right?
Like think that I would love like some sort of programs for families, people with families, people who are super low income, some sort of subsidies right there. I think that would be the best way to keep people from going homeless. Just getting people off the street and back into housing is so expensive. These nonprofits around here are super gross too. Like you take a look at what they're doing, and they're all like getting paid bank. Like, okay, you're getting paid more than the mayor. Like that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so gross. It's so disgusting, and it's almost like they're fetishizing. Like, it's just disgusting. And so, what's the solution? Fuck, I don't know. Like it's addressing the corruption.
No, here's the solution, Angelica. This is the solution to the unhoused situation. You give them houses. That solves that they would be unhoused. See, to me, it's one of those things that
you get them housed, but I mean, it's not that easy, girl.
No, but that is the solution. And the fact that we have so many, first of all, empty, unlived in houses.
Yeah.
And also we've got so many people living on the street. That's a failed system.
We need to start taxing people who have these owners who are like buying up all these houses and they're leaving them empty. We should be blocking them. The city of Los Angeles should be enacting their power of eminent domain and snatching those houses back and figuring out what to do something better with them, with the community, giving people the opportunity to own where they live and stuff, instead of moving all the way out to like the desert or whatever. There's all kinds of things as far as the homelessness issue, we need to be serious. And you know what, just housing isn't enough. We need to make sure we do this right. And you know what, we've been seeing a lot of chaos too in just housing, because you move in drug addicts and people who are not ready to be, and then you move them into with children. Like my God, I have 5 children. Do you understand how many ball sacks and disgusting things that they've already seen, and how many conversations I've had to have? I guarantee you, people in Pacific Palisades and Beverly Hills and over on the West Side, they're not having to deal with that. So we need to be serious and we need to address the issue. Like these people who are also going out there and let the people be on the street. You know what? You need to refocus your energy, and we need to figure out how to really get these people treatment, because the drug epidemic is out of hand, and we need to address it all, and we need to address who caused it, and they need to pay for it. Like these drug manufacturers and all that, it's so bad, you guys, and it's all around us. And who has to deal with it? Poor people of color, not freaking bougie ass people. No, us. And it's not fair. And you know what? And we have heart for everybody, but we need to get real, and we need to get real solutions, and we need to get people into treatment, or they need to go somewhere where they're going to be taken care of while they're still not ready or whatever. But we need to figure it out, and we cannot have these people be coming and going, because my kids' school have been locked down. We've had people with machetes. We've had naked people. I mean, this is what we're dealing with on a daily basis. And it's not fair for these people either. They deserve care. They deserve health care, humane compassion. And what we're saying is freedom. They have the freedom to go rot in the street and die.
Well, it's just
it's so sad
that people think that we could ever be better off when there's people living like that. It's just not good for any of us. The drug issue, the mental health issue, to me, those are all within the realm of what we should be having with universal health care. Both of those issues are healthcare
issues.
Absolutely.
Universal health care. How much of that could have been addressed and being fixed? People who were on medical care and they got on painkillers, right? And how much of those people could have been prevented from going out there if we had universal health care? right?
I'll do another
Absolutely.
intersection for you, another intersection back to housing. Imagine the amount of people that would be able to afford housing if they didn't have to give up all their money for healthcare. Imagine the amount of people,
Oh,
you know, the amount of
yes.
medical bankruptcy. So if you think of it that way, the amount of people that would have better housing options, if not for high insurance and premiums and all that, that's just
Hmm.
common sense. So, because the
Absolutely.
people that are
It's
living
cruel. It's
yeah,
cruel in this country. It's freaking cruel, you know? And you're talking with the mandates. Absolutely. You know, with the mandates, back then, I'm anti-mandate. I used to say,
yeah,
like, let's get people universal health care. How are you going to force people to go do a thing that they don't trust? And then you're going to tell them, like, they're on their own if something goes
right.
wrong. Like, that doesn't even make sense. You know, that does not even make sense.
It makes profit.
Oh yeah. Okay. Absolutely. And then, you know, here we are, like, it's like, and these, it's just so gross. The whole thing has been so gross. And it's the working class who ends up having to pay with it for it. You know, it's the working class who died. Here in our district, we had disproportionate amount of COVID deaths, you know, depending on what numbers you're looking at, right? And why were people dying around here? It's because people are overweight. We have terrible environment, have dirty air, people are diabetic, people have heart issues, all this stuff. And we're not addressing all of these things that it comes back to having clean water, having clean air, having healthy food, having health care, having access to the things like that any like advanced society should have access to. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, we're clearly seeing the capitalistic collapse of Western civilization, like in real time, because when you've got so much wealth that people's yachts have yachts, and yet there's people that can't get clean water, that level of disparity is completely untenable, right? Like that, it's so absurd that sometimes I feel like I'm in a bizarro world. I could almost like it's infuriating to me. And I don't mind rich people. And I say it 1,000 times. I don't mind rich people. I don't care how rich the rich get. I care how poor the poor are. And if the poor were proportionately going up with the, I don't care if there's even a divide. You can have your little divide. I just think the people that are at the bottom need to have a standard of living of dignity and respect. That's all I'm saying, you know?
Yeah, I don't agree. I think that the rich are definitely, there is such thing as being too rich.
Well,
like,
yes, every billionaire is a failed policy choice. I do agree with that.
Jeff Bezos, as we speak, is building a $100 million mansion in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why the disconnect is so great. And one of the things about growing up in Latino culture that is different for a lot of the white suburbanites that they don't seem to understand, especially when it comes to the gun debate. And when it comes to all the shootings that we're seeing around the country, I've tried explaining this a million times to people that are more privileged than they can possibly understand, is that the reason these shootings are happening on the regular is because people are so desperate in this society and have given up on this society. They just don't care anymore. And they're willing to take as many people with them as they can while they can. And the ones they want to single out are the white supremacists who want to kill black people. But the reality is this type of stuff is going on everywhere.
And
it's going on all the time. And you're talking about kids bringing machetes to school because they are effing desperate and they can't survive. So the more this goes on, the worse this is going to get. And so the more that people in the undemocratic party that pretend like they are the democratic party of the two, they are not. They're equally as bad. They just do it in different ways. And so we have to figure out how to unite labor and the working class of this country. If we do that, then things will get better. But if we decide that we are going to be divided and figure out ways to not unite around labor issues, because everything we're talking about here, universal health care, housing, again, I can get on board with furlough programs with people that get housing and they have to work to stay in the house. But as long as there is a give and take, that a person has a freaking roof over their head, instead of going out and living on Skid Row and scaring the bejesus out of people. Again, what they do in Hollywood is the same that they do in our Hollywood, because we have our own Hollywood here in South Florida. You know what they do? They do the same thing as they do on the West Coast. They sweep them up. They basically kick them out. They basically put them under the bridges on the 405 and things like that. That's what they do. And that's not going to change. That's a policy failure because, again, it's all about what do the rich and powerful want. So if you want to change that narrative can change, and it can change very easily. But having candidates that are running for office that are leading on a labor movement is what's going to be the game changer. It's not going to be the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is hated more than the Republican Party right now, and statistics bear that out. But if you are willing to fight for working people and work with it in the confines of the labor movement, that's the winner. And that's what's going to change, because it's all we got.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.